Hi, and welcome to Quantum Resonance. The topic today is on the different forms of light that we're bringing into the systems that we sell and carry. More specifically, the full spectrum light. Now, for the most part, the last 5 years, what we've been doing is using red, green, and blue, or the RGB LEDs, which are pretty standard and they change color and they have a very normal spectrum of light. And we've also included ultraviolet into all the packages. Now, what we've decided to do is also add infrared into this. So not only do we have red, green, blue, ultraviolet, but we now have infrared. And there are numerous benefits to including the infrared. And before I get into that, I'd love to discuss very briefly on the ultraviolet aspect. Ultraviolet is a really key component to our overall health. Now, it's been touted as something that causes cancer and disease and inflammation and all sorts of bad things. You know, when we go outside, we need to lather up with skin protection and wear eye protection and this and that. When you're getting a full dose of ultraviolet light from the sun for an extended period of time, sure, take precautions. When we're dealing with a shorter time frame, 20-minute sessions, 45-minute sessions with a lower amount of ultraviolet, it's perfectly safe and in fact it's beneficial. What we're going to find is that ultraviolet light starts to produce vitamin D in the body. It will lessen inflammation. It will create faster changes in the cells because the cells are more adaptable in the presence of ultraviolet light. They change quicker. And so we have all these beautiful energy systems that are incorporated into ultraviolet, and yet nobody uses them because they're afraid of the ultraviolet light. Yet they're so key to what we do. If some of you are into the spiritual realm, you may have heard about Saint Germain and his violet flame. And so the violet flame is that purple spectrum, the ultraviolet, and what that does is comes through and cleans and clears. And so we've always brought that in as well. So when we're dealing with the crystals, we incorporate that section of the energy into the crystal work. So the crystals don't need to be pulled out and cleansed, put in salt or whatever you do to cleanse them, because they are cleansed real time when the ultraviolet light is working. Always cleaning them and always working with them. Now, when we move on over to the opposite spectrum, the infrared, what we find is that so many different products are available on the market to work with the infrared energy fields. Whether we have the infrared mats like the biomats, or we have the saunas that are using infrared, or even the light systems that wrap around your head that are deep red and far red and infrared as well. They're all doing very similar things, and that is bringing in those certain wavelengths which help the skin promote overall health. They will reduce inflammation inside the cells as well as on the skin. They help with skin blemishes, help with your mood, as well as the ultraviolet, by the way, will regulate your mood, because these two together are powerful combinations to help ease what is known as the seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. And the SAD is about 25 million people a year in the US are affected by it. So there's plenty of clients out there who need the treatment from the lights to work with the seasonal affective disorder. And, a half hour twice a week would snap them right out of whatever moods they're in. And I have one of the lights right now. When this is turned on, brought into the face area, what it's going to do, you have 7 of these working. What it's going to do is reset the body's clock. It's going to reset the melatonin production. It's going to tell the body, hey, I have more natural light, because we're working with the full spectrum. We're not just working with a small part of it, not just infrared, not ultraviolet, but everything. And so the body responds to this, and it's like, yeah, I can really use that. And by the way, it's pink because we have the purple from the ultraviolet and the red from the infrared. And because they're not a perfect 50-50 balance, it ended up being pink. Now, on the quantum resonance crystal beds, these actually pulse to specific frequencies, and some of them are so fast you can't tell they're pulsing. But what that's doing is imparting additional information into the stream of energy that's coming into your body. Crystal lights, we have these on steady, so they don't have flashing information going to them, but they do work great. Now, when you have 7 of these in a room, it's going to really change the energy in the room, because you are really imparting a lot of information into this. It would be similar to going into a room that has all the grow lights for the plants to grow well. Overall, you'll find that your clients will benefit greatly from this increased infrared and ultraviolet lighting. We find that when it goes into the crystals, it creates such a beautiful energy system that you can't help but feeling great afterwards. And so I thank you for this time. Namaste.